All right, you guys. So what I want you guys to do right now is take a look at our screen right here. And what you're probably wondering is, why am I looking at 12 aliens, crazy looking aliens right now? What I want you guys to do is take a few minutes, really look at all the aliens. There's 12 different aliens. Look at the aliens, answer our couple of questions right here. So it says, what do you notice about what do you notice about these 12 aliens? What are their similarities? And then what are their differences? So I want you guys to take, 2, 3, 4 minutes. And, with a piece of paper, maybe in your journals, you guys can write down some of their similarities and some of their differences. And then we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about what you guys notice, what's similar, what's different, and we'll go from there. So take a few minutes, start writing down what you're thinking, what you're seeing, and then we are going to talk about it. So I'll give you guys a few minutes. Okay, so now that we've taken a few minutes to look at our different aliens here, I want some of us to raise our hands and tell us what we see. Okay, so you're noticing that some of the aliens have the same color skin or fur or whatever it could be. So these guys, I think this is green. Some people might say that this is blue. So it's up for your own interpretation. But so we see that these three right here all have the same color fur, right? Or skin or whatever. And then we've got a couple other who have like dark blue skin, right? Or fur. And then these guys, 1, 2, 3, they all have the same thing, the same color fur or skin. And I'm not sure, I don't know, do you guys think that's like a peach or something like that? But obviously we can see that they all have the same color skin and fur, or skin or fur. And then we also have a few, like you guys were saying, that are kind of by themselves for their skin color or their fur, right? So we've got this guy over here who's the only light blue. We've got this guy right here who's the only one that's orange. And then we also have this guy over here who's the only one that's yellow. So a couple that are by themselves as far as their skin color or fur. And then we also have some who have similar skin color or fur. So yeah, great job noticing that. What else do we see? What else do we see with our little aliens here? Okay, so the different eyes. Yeah, so we've got, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 who only have one eye. So all 4 of those, or 5, I'm sorry, all 5 of those are similar in the way that they all have one eyeball. But then we also have a couple who have 3 eyeballs. We've got 1, 2, I think that's it. So we've got 2 of them who have 3 eyeballs, which is really silly. And then it looks like we have a few who have 2 eyeballs, right? So once again, it looks like we have some similarities and differences in the eyeballs as well, right? So there's some that are similar in the way that they have 1 or 2 or 3 eyeballs, but then they're all kind of different from each other in the way that they have 1, 2, or 3 eyeballs, right? So definitely some similarities and differences with that. What else do we notice? I see some other stuff that, could be different from one another. Okay, yeah, so their legs, right? Yeah, so we can see we've got a lot of them, it looks like, have kind of short legs, it looks like, right? Yeah, but then we've got one over here who's got really long legs. So it looks like, as far as similarities, these guys are all pretty similar in the way that their legs are pretty short. But then this guy over here's got really long legs, so he's kind of on his own with the long legs. And then, yeah, really good observation is that this guy, it looks like he doesn't really have any legs. He's kind of just floating, right? So, or I'm not really sure if those are legs, those little, I don't know. So he's either got no legs or he's got quite a few legs. So that guy, he's different from everybody else. And then this guy is different from everybody else too. Any other similarities or differences before we move on to our next activity? I'll take one more. Okay, yeah, so some of them it looks like have like little antennas maybe, or horns, and this guy's got like one, but this guy's got two, this guy's got two, and then like some of them don't even have any. This guy's got some. It doesn't look like he's got any, doesn't look like he has any. This guy's got eyes, like, it almost looks like his eyes are his, like, antennas almost. So yeah, so some of them have antennas or horns. Some of them don't have anything and all that kind of stuff. So very good observations that we've made with those. So what we're going to do today actually is we are going to be making our own aliens, which is pretty cool. So I have an activity for us, so I'm going to explain what we're going to be doing today, and then I have the packet for you guys to work with. So what we're going to be doing today, I'm really excited. I think this is a really fun activity. Is like I said, you guys are all going to be making your own activities. In just a minute, I'm going to explain the directions for you. And then once you've completed your activity sheet, your activity packet, then we're actually going to be bringing our aliens to life. And using a bunch of different supplies, we are going to be making our aliens. So with paper, glue, googly eyes, all sorts of different craft supplies and materials, you guys are going to make your aliens based on the different characteristics that you come up with for your alien. So I'm going to read the directions for you guys. Make sure you're listening so that you know what to do. Okay, so step number 1, flip a coin, which I have coins for all of you, so you'll each receive a coin as well. So you're going to flip a coin to determine the combination of alleles your alien has for each trait. A head represents a dominant allele, and a tail represents a recessive allele. Write H or T for head or tail in the flip 1 and flip 2 columns on the attached chart. So that's a lot of big words that I just read there, right? So here's your chart that you're gonna get. So what you'll see is skin color. So these are all different traits that your alien could possibly have. Different traits and characteristics that your alien is gonna have. So the skin color, the length of their limbs, the shape of their antenna, the number of antennas that they'll have, number of eyes, eye color, body shape, head shape, furriness, and fur color. So these are all the characteristics that we're going to be working with today. So again, like I said in the directions, you're going to be flipping the coin 2 times, okay? So, and there's a column for each, so it says flip 1. So what you'll do is you're going to flip your coin in the air. And then, so I got heads just now, or I'm sorry, I just got tails. So let me go back and see what it said. So a tail represents a recessive allele. So I would write tail or T in the flip 1 column because I flipped a tail, and so that represents a recessive allele. And so let's see, for skin color, the recessive allele is a lowercase b, and the skin color would then be yellow for my alien. So moving on, actually, let's back up a little bit. So like I said, those are some pretty big words. So we've got allele, we've got dominant alleles, we've got recessive alleles. So why don't we quickly go over some of those vocabulary words so that we're familiar with what we're working with, right? So who wants to share what an allele is? So I'll give you guys a minute. Think about what an allele is. Okay, yeah, so and I'm pulling up the definition right now so that I can give you guys an accurate definition. And I'll write these on the board so that you guys can have these to reference throughout the lesson today. So an allele is one of 2 or more alternative forms of a gene that arise by mutation and are found at the same place on a chromosome. So again, kind of a lot of big words. So two alleles make up your genotypes, right? So when we're flipping for alleles, so let's see. So a dominant allele then is a variation of a gene that will produce a certain phenotype even in the presence of other alleles. So a dominant allele typically encodes for a functioning protein, and they're dominant because one copy of the allele produces enough enzyme to supply a cell with plenty of given product. So typically the word dominant means that, it's the bigger one, the one that like takes over a little bit more, when you've got like a dominant person, they're big personality, they kind of take over and stuff like that. So that's kind of what a dominant allele does, is they overpower the recessive alleles, right? So back to our directions for today. So step number 2, after you flip your coin twice to find out the different alleles, then our directions say the combination of your 2 flips determine your genotype, like I just said. So 2 alleles creates your genotype. So using the letters assigned to each trait, which is found on our table right here, so you'll have to reference your packet, the front of your packet, write your alien's genotype on the attached chart. So then you're going to use the information found in the table below to determine your alien's phenotype for each trait and record on the attached chart. And then you're going to use this information to determine how your alien would look, and then that's going to help you when we're actually creating them with all of our supplies, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to have your 2 papers together. So this is your chart that you'll be filling in today. And then this is what you'll reference. So this will tell you when you're flipping if you have a dominant or recessive allele. So I think it was, let's look at this again. And I'll write this on the board too. So a head, when you flip your coin and you get a head, that represents a dominant allele. And when you flip a tail, that represents a recessive allele. So I'll write that on the board as well so you guys can reference that as you're going. So then that way you can kind of just peek up on the board. So what you're going to do is have your 2 sheets side by side so that you can kind of look at them. And you're going to flip your coin 2 times for each characteristic, right? So again, so skin color, my flip 1, I got heads, which is the recessive gene. So that one would be the lowercase b, but I have to flip it again. Whoa, and I dropped my coin. Of course I did. Okay, so I'll flip it again, and I got heads, or I'm sorry, I keep saying that. And so I got tails again. So my skin color would then be yellow because I got, for flip 1 and flip 2, I got a recessive gene, so it would be lowercase b and lowercase b. So that means that my skin color for my alien will be yellow. But for example, the dominant traits, or the dominant allele for skin color, if you roll a heads, the color is blue. So let's say you get 1 blue and 1 yellow. What happens when you mix blue and yellow together? You get green. So then your alien would be green. Okay, so some people are going to have a blue alien. If you roll 2 heads, you're going to have a blue alien. If you roll 2 tails, like I did, you're going to have a yellow alien. But if you roll 1 of each, if you roll 1 head and 1 tail, which is 1 dominant and 1 recessive allele, then you're going to have a green alien, right? Okay, so why don't we get started? I know this is kind of a lot, so don't feel intimidated. You're going to be flipping a couple times. So how about this? If you want, just go through and do all of your flips, and if you feel like you're a little bit overwhelmed with what all of the genotypes mean, raise your hand and I can come around and I'll help you guys out as much as possible for the time that we have left today. So if you feel like you're stuck at all, just keep doing your flips and write down if you got heads or tails. So keep track of that, and then we can go back and look at and find out the different characteristics, okay, before you start working on your alien. So before you're once you're done doing all of your flips and you've got all your chart filled out, make sure you come to me first so that I can check it and make sure that everything looks okay before you get started on creating your actual alien with all of the supplies, okay? So go ahead and get started. I'm going to come around and pass out your coins for everybody so that you have those to work with. And then, yeah, go ahead and get started once you have your packet and your coins, okay?